Say hi. You don't have to say hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
Passport. They got even ask us for ID.
Nope. He just said that was our name.
Yeah.
But now we're entering. Dude, you grab a map?
No, I don't have a map. I'm gonna start walking. There's a couple of people.
That's how I end up doing 10,000 circles around this place.
He's over there.
That's so cute. So the Global Pet Expo is like the largest pet exposition in the world, where they have tons of products for retailers, distributors, and wholesalers to all come together and review new products every year, see what's cool. So I was checking out a tons of new products for birds, dogs, cats, fish, everything you can imagine. It's like every pet is here, and it was just super exciting to see it all. It's not something I get to do often, but because my family is in the pet industry, we get to go and get invited. So the event is quite loud and lots of people talking and just background noise. So I'm going to be doing a voiceover for a lot of this. And of course, I was mostly excited about the fish section at this event. They have this whole aquatic lounge that we get to go to and check out all the fish distributors and wholesalers. And as you can see, here is the aquatic lounge. It has this giant area with tons of tanks in a circle with chairs and couches all around it. And it's just super, super cool. Oh, I buy from this company. Yeah, they have great fish. It's something that like I always love to see, because you get to see all the wholesalers as to like what they offer, and these are the fish that will end up in pet shops most of the time, especially in the local area. And it's just something really cool because a lot of these shops spend time to set up all these tanks, so they definitely bring the best fish stock that they have. Some of my favorite fish that they had to offer were these African cichlids, beautiful, beautiful colors, the OBs, the dragon bloods. All these fish are really stunning. They also had amazing rainbow fish. Now all these vendors like just bring all these fish for this show. So the show will last about 3 days or a week, and a lot of times the vendors will just sell these fish. Here you can see all these little multifasciatus, shell dwellers, and they bring all the fish here, so the fish don't really have to go back to the stores all the time or where they came from. If they're from out of state, they'll sell them to people on the booth. Oh, these angelfish get like green. These are really cool. My dad spotted a really cool fish in one of the top tanks that I had to show you guys. Take a look at this. Oh, the pike cichlid. All the way back there.
What's the name of that one in the back?
It's called a pike cichlid. Then after the pike cichlid, we spotted some glowfish, which are some really unique, colorful fish that you don't see in nature at all. You know, they patented it. So anybody that sells glowfish is illegal unless you buy it directly from the consumer or directly from the company. So they patent the license to put it in the eggs. So nobody else is allowed to sell glowfish, which I think is weird that they patented an animal. And you can't breed them legally. If you breed them, they could like sue you or... Now these fish are really, really unique. They somehow inject the colorful dye with something from jellyfish, I think, into the egg, so it's harmless to the fish, and then you can breed them that will spawn more glowfish. However, like I said, that's not allowed because the fish are patented, but they give off this neon green, blues, pinks, colorful fish that you never really get to see. And for some people, this is really cool fish to get into the hobby with. But nevertheless, we're gonna move on to the next fish, which of course were discus, which I love discus so much. Now this group of discus looked very, very healthy, which I loved, and they are stunning in color, which is awesome. That one? You like that one?
Very unique.
It's called a rose queen discus. I never get them because I don't think they look that nice. Now we continue on to the rest of the fish tanks that were there. There was at least 100 fish tanks, just tons of little small 10-gallon or 20-gallon fish tanks on these huge systems. So they're not filtered all in one tank. I think they're all connected. But as you can see, a lot of the fish look very, very healthy because, again, these vendors really want to show off the types of fish that they carry so that retailers like pet shops can come and buy from them and then sell them to the public like you or me. And then these are the fish we're getting. A lot of these companies, I wasn't sure about the naming or who they were all the time, but I was familiar with a lot of the big brands like Seagrass, Imperial Tropicals, and a couple others like Ron Cichlids I think was there as well. And these guys have gone to Aquashella and other events too, which was also really cool. So some of these vendors do sell to the public, while others like Seagrass do not sell to the public. But check out this really cool Florida silver gar looking thing. Those fish, I really want one. They do get kind of big, but we never know. We might get one soon for the mini predator tank, you know, that I'm building in the 65 gallon. Then they had saltwater, which one day we'll do, guys. One day we will do all the saltwater in the world. But this is another beautiful setup. I think that was a type of angel in the saltwater world. They had a sailfin tang there. They also have a naso tang or naso tang, which are one of the most expensive tangs, which I know about. And they're just stunning and beautiful, even though they're mostly gray. I think it's really funny. And then we go into some more fish and another angel, I believe. And then we're going to move on to some other beautiful fish and more saltwater. There wasn't a whole lot of saltwater compared to freshwater at the show, but it was still a good amount. Now this booth had an amazing selection of clownfish, and clownfish are definitely going to be the first fish I get in saltwater. Look at the solid red one. That one it's zooming. It's going crazy fast. I don't know why. I love clownfish, and when they keep them in like colonies of just like hundreds of clowns, I think that's really unique. These guys are definitely some rare species of clownfish that are costly. I only know like the ocellaris, and then they breed them out to have all these cool patterns. Like this one looks like a little cow. Look at this beautiful clownfish. It looks like a little cow in your aquarium. And then I know some of the others could be like snowflakes and different things like that. They even have longfin clowns now. But then we moved on because the clownfish are cool, but look at all these tetras. These neon tetras are stunning with glow light tetras. Then the African cichlids, which are like my bread and butter of all fish I love to keep. And then angels, of course. There were, you know, your stereotypical basic angelfish. No offense to those angelfish, but you see them in every pet store. And then they had a plant section with not a lot of fish, which I found interesting because plants are just definitely booming. And if you don't have plants in your aquarium, throw out those plastic ones and get some of these beautiful, beautiful real life plants. But I think plants are definitely a great source for a natural aquarium. You get waste removed, all these kinds of things that help the aquarium thrive, and it's just more natural, provides oxygen and things like that as well. Then they had some beautiful goldfish, which I do want to keep more goldfish like in an aquarium rather than a pond, because I think they just keep the substrate clean. They look really cool, they're fun, they're derpy. Like look at these big silly little faces. They're just fun to look at. They're very personable in my opinion, and they just provide a lot of joy, a lot of color. And I think you can keep other fish with them. I have kept some expensive fish with my goldfish before, like my red angels. I've actually kept them in the same aquarium before, but it was just for a time being because they do have different requirements in terms of like temperature sometimes. And then you can see all these other gouramis that they had, some cherry barbs, I believe those are. This place had tons of fish and more clownfish, more clownfish, which are my favorite. I definitely need to get clownfish, and I always go back and forth. It's like, do I want a fancy clownfish that's like the newer strains, or do I want the basic one for my first saltwater fish? And I really lean to getting like the original Ocellaris percula clown. I think I'm saying that correctly. And then eventually maybe I get the fancy ones. They had these really cool striped lionfish. I don't know what they're called. I'm not in the saltwater world. I'm learning more and more. I definitely think I can do it, and I definitely think the saltwater world is something that's actually easier than freshwater once you're in it. That's what a lot of people tell me, so it might make sense in the future. But then we keep going. These fish tanks don't stop, guys. Here are all the angelfish, and these are some, you know, red-orange angelfish. I think they're not as orange as mine, which I was happy to see, but these guys look pretty impressive and are nice for orange angelfish that you would find in like a pet store rather than like a single breeder. And then we moved on to some more African cichlids, and then there's a beautiful pleco sitting under this piece of driftwood. I don't know what it's called. Tons of plecos out in the world. There's more African cichlids. Tropheus duboisi. I definitely want to get these one day. I think they're stunning and beautiful to look at, especially as juveniles. They have these little black speckly dots on them. I mean, white speckly dots on a black body, and they just look amazing. Then they had Synodontis multipunctatus, which are some catfish I actually have, and when they're babies, they're just so cute. Like, look at this little guy just swimming and treading water. It's just beautiful to see, and maybe one day mine will spawn and have babies of their own. They definitely are old enough now and have shown spawning behavior, so maybe we'll get lucky, guys. Then we moved on to some more saltwater, and now this place was really, really cool. because they have farm-raised saltwater fish. They're called biota aquariums, which is super rare in the saltwater industry. Most fish are wild caught.
Do you work here?
Yeah.
Are these farm-raised?
Everything we do is captive bred.
That's awesome. That is so cool. I don't keep saltwater, but one day I would love to.
Then we had to move on to the reptiles. Look at this little lizard thing hiding in a cave. I thought it was super cool. They had these beautiful terrariums with plants and wildlife. See if you guys can spot the animals in these terrariums as I'm looking at them. It took me a while to spot what two animals were living in here, but now you guys can finally see. I glimpsed at the snake, and it was just cool python. It's not a python. I could be completely wrong. But this cool green snake, and then see in the left side if you can spot the other animal in that aquarium or terrarium, and look at it. It's just like stunning. It's like, it looks like a statue in my opinion. You can't tell if it's moving or if it's alive. And look at this guy. I don't know what this is. I think it's a chameleon because it's so colorful, but I have no clue. They're just both stunning creatures. I think the terrariums are amazing. They have beautiful colors, and it just looks like a piece of nature in a box, and I am just in love. And I have a friend that actually knows how to make those. And then we finally finished it off with this cool albino turtle looking thing. I think it's an albino snapping turtle, and it just looks amazing. It's weird. I don't know if I'd ever keep one, maybe one day, but they're really weird. And then we also found some more turtles or tortoises in this enclosure over here, which one day I think I do want to have a tortoise. They're just really peaceful beings in my opinion, and they're just like really unique in color.